Blue Jackets training camp underway here at the OhioHealth Ice Haus. Training camp brought to you by OhioHealth. I'm Bob McElligott sitting alongside of Jean-Luc Grandpierre as we get ready for the second of two scrimmages here this morning at the Ice Haus. Jean-Luc, this is always a staple of training camp the first couple of days. You get that Saturday scrimmage going back and forth. You had one of these teams already played one game. They're going to play a second one here. It's all about the skating and the conditioning with a chance to put on a little show for the fans.
Yeah, put on a little show, Bob. Great to be here, seeing a crowd. It's been 2 years since we've seen a crowd. Jake Voracek, old fan favorite, saying some hello to the crowd. So, yeah, it's nice not only for these players to put on a show, but you have to remember, for these guys, they haven't seen a live crowd in over a year, so it is very nice to see the atmosphere here, and I'm sure the guys are going to be excited.
I know that they're going to be excited because, yeah, they're still doing their skating, but they're actually playing a little game. You know, you've been through these training camps. You got drills that you have to do, but when you can just kind of open it up, and it's a controlled scrimmage, I understand all of that, but you're still playing. I mean, this is going to be your really first taste of playing the game a little bit with your teammates, because on Monday you're going to be playing another team for the first time.
Yeah, exactly, and we're starting to see some combinations that Coach Larson and his coaching staff have put together as far as, you know, seeing how guys are meshing with each other, because this is a very short time. There's going to be a lot of exhibition games. You want to make sure that you head into that training camp giving a fair chance to all these players to get used to their teammates.
Well, you talk about putting guys together. Cole Sillinger right there was the 11th overall pick in the draft this past summer. Of course, he's the son of Mike Sillinger, who's a former Blue Jacket. Cole has come in. He's really taken this camp by storm in the early going. He went to Traverse City to play in the rookie tournament. He was a standout in the rookie tournament, and now here he is in camp. They've had him playing center on the top line between Jake Voracek and Patrick Laine in these first couple of days. The question is, can he stay there? Can he hold on to that spot? Is he ready at 18 years of age?
Yeah, we'll find out in the next couple of games, especially in the exhibition games. I think it's going to be a great test for him, but I like what the organization is doing. They're giving him a fair chance to show what he can do. Let's not kid ourselves. This is not a third, fourth line player. He's going to be a first, second liner in the NHL. Put him with these players of high caliber and see how he can mesh with them. And hopefully he makes the team. So he's very smart. He's strong already, very mature beyond his age. So hopefully everything works out. But if he's not ready, go back to the minors, learn, and then when he's ready, bring him up.
And there are actually options with him, which you normally don't have. But he could go to junior hockey, or he could go to Cleveland and play in the American Hockey League. So there's a lot of flexibility with Cole Sillinger. We'll watch and see how he performs in this setting here today, as you see that white team getting their last little words in at the bench there. I'm sure there's a lot of strategy going on here right now.
At the end of the day, these guys want to put on a show. They want to make a good impression. Young Shinnikov, we got Sillinger, so really exciting. And that Sillinger line is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, here they are. They're starting things off. Werenski gets a puck off the draw as Sillinger wins it. Now Zach wants to attack up the ice. Dish it on the left side, Laine. Over to Voracek. Jake gets through one man. Takes that shot. It got deflected just wide. Oliver Bjorkstrand got to stick in on that. Now the blue team trying to get it out. Roslovic had it bounce over his stick. Sillinger tried to set up Voracek, and so that one went off his stick and took away what could have been a good scoring chance right there.
Yeah, it didn't take too long for that line to make a quick impression. You can see, you know, it's got to be a nice opportunity. Jake Voracek can move the puck really well. We all know about Patrick Laine's shot, so good synergy so far on their first shift already.
Werenski clears his own. Scott Harrington will set it up in the neutral zone for the blue team. Just getting underway. These are two 20-minute period games, by the way, that we're playing here today at the OhioHealth Ice Haus. And up the left side, Kevin Stenlund. Had that puck knocked off his stick. Igor Chinnikov. He was a first-round draft pick of the Blue Jackets 2 summers ago. And Chinnikov, a lot of people didn't know who he was when they drafted him. Well, he went on to play in the KHL last year. He was a Rookie of the Year, and people know who he is now.
Yeah, I still remember when the NHL draft was on TV, and you could see the analysts scrambling, trying to find the Shinnikov guys, but he made an impression that rookie tournament, and there he is with a great shot. I'm excited to see his shot live, and that's one of the things, you know, you hear about people's shot, but, you know, kind of like Patrick Laine when he came to the team. Until you see him in practice, you don't realize how powerful it is.
Mikko Lehtinen, he came in here last year, and the Blue Jackets re-signed him as a free agent during the offseason, cleared it out to the neutral zone. Blue team trying to bring it back. Lehtinen chasing Josh Dunn. We saw Josh Dunn make his NHL debut last year. Came out of college in Clarkson, and he went to Traverse City, and in the rookie tournament, they had him marked as the captain in that tournament. He played a big, strong, physical game. It really seemed like he learned from that little bit of NHL experience.
Yeah, I think he did. And early in the first game there, I saw him in a couple puck battles with him and Andrew Peak. So you can tell these guys want to stick. It was two of the most physical guys in that first scrimmage, and he knows his game, and that's what he's bringing here.
White team trying to get a little bit of pressure in this game. It's been back and forth here in the opening 2.5 minutes. What you expect in a just a wide open flow type scrimmage game. Nobody's gotten any extended pressure in either end. It's all about the battles. Brad Larson, the head coach of this Blue Jackets team, now he's not on the bench. He's sitting up in the stands, just getting that bird's eye view of the compete level from the players he's got on the ice right now. Team's trying to make some changes here and get set up. And they want to bring this one right back in the neutral zone, but there's a quick steal. That's what I'm talking about, John-Luc. It's funny, you get those top line guys out there and you see the good puck movement. Now you start to dip down and you get down to the fourth line players. These are young guys trying to make an impression. They don't have the NHL experience, and it stands out.
Yeah, you can tell, again, it goes back to synergy, and the talent level is not quite there. And there's a lot of nerves as well.
But I think that's the biggest thing, right? You've been in these camps. You've gone as a rookie. It's not like you're all calm about it.
Yeah. Body checks happening, door opening in the corner there. But that's exactly what you're looking from these young guys. Who is going to stick out? Because they're all trying to make an impression. So whether it's a big hit, a nice goal, maybe a fight, who knows? No, that's 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's training camps of the past. Gregory Hoffman battling over on the far wall. Hoffman signed as a free agent this year. This is a guy that spent his entire career playing in Europe. He's an older player. He's getting his first NHL chance. And again, you were talking about this with Sillinger, giving him an opportunity to really show his skills. Hoffman playing on a line with Oliver Bjorkstrand and Jack Roslovic here at the beginning of this camp. So, yeah, they put him in a prime spot.
Yeah, he's looked very good so far. And again, this is not a 19-year-old with no experience. He's played the pro game over in Switzerland for years. I believe he was drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes back in the days and decided to stay in Europe. And now he's ready to make the jump. So the Blue Jackets have to be happy. And for him, I believe he's a former teammate of Elvis Merzlikins. So I'm sure he'll be all right here as far as acclimating to the Columbus area. But most likely, this is a guy that you want to see perform well in camp and really stick with the team, because so far so good for him.
Gus Nyquist has the puck for the Blue Jackets. Yes, Gus Nyquist is still here. He didn't play a single game last year. He had an injury, he had surgery, and he probably could have played near the end of the year, but the Blue Jackets, where they were in the standings and the position they were in, there was no need to get him back out on the ice and risk any further injury. So it's good to see Gus back in uniform this year.
Yes, it is. And we saw him at the Blue Jackets outing for the foundation, and his shoulder is 100% healthy because he was hitting the ball a mile and a half. So shoulder is repaired. Most importantly for the Blue Jackets, it's going to be nice to see Gus on the ice, because he's a quiet guy. From game to game, you just watch him. Nothing is spectacular, but he ends up with an assist, 2 assists. Doesn't make many mistakes, and really good defensively.
Oh, he just had the puck roll off his stick there, but he's got it back in that one. Goes off the blocker pad and up off the glass. Yeah, you're right about Gus. He is quiet. He's quiet in demeanor. He's quiet in the way he plays, but he's the kind of player where quietly he winds up in the right spot, and all of a sudden you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Shot, and that one is turned aside. Elvis Merzlikins getting the work in goal for the blue team here. Gavin Bayreuther. Remember Gavin Bayreuther? He went to the Seattle Kraken for about 10 minutes, and then he came back. There's a shot by Chinakhov that goes high. Yeah, Bayreuther was taken in the expansion draft, but then he was a a free agent to be, and the Kraken opted not to sign him, and he quickly came right back to Columbus to re-sign with the Blue Jackets, where he got a chance to play some games in the NHL at the end of last season.
Yes, and this is a guy that wants to prove that he can stick in the NHL. So, yes, he's a legend of the Kraken right there, Gavin Bayreuther.
He's an original Kraken, that's right, without playing the game.
You can put it on your resume. But, yeah, defensively for the Blue Jackets, it's going to, the number 5 and 6 spot is wide open, so it's going to be a good battle to follow throughout camp.
5 and 6 spot is wide open, and there are a total of 9 guys. So you do the math. There's going to be a lot of guys battling for those 2 spots.
Yeah, you got Scott Harrington, Gabe Carlson, Bayreuther. I mean, there's a lot of it's going to be interesting to see. First of all, how many defensemen the Blue Jackets are going to carry throughout the season, but most importantly, who's going to be in the lineup on day 1 in the 5 and 6 spot.
White team trying to clear it out here. That's exactly what they're going to do. They bring it up the ice, 2 men strong. Brendan Gauntz is playing that puck down along the end boards. Back out to center ice it comes. 0-0 game. We've played almost 8 minutes in this game. Scott Harrington, fresh off the bench, will pick it up for the Blue Jackets. Moves it across the ice, and the blue team will get it right back out to center. Well, the white team, I was talking earlier about the fact there wasn't much pressure. The white team did get some pressure on that shift when they had the Nyquist line out there, and that's been the most concentrated play we've seen on one end so far in this game. Yeah,
as far as plays, that's it. As far as players, one guy that just stuck out to me quickly, that Caleb Lawrence, number 83. He's the 6'6", 225, and I'm looking at his stats here in junior, so nothing too impressive offensively from him, but wow, that's a big body right there. 6'6".
You know what's funny? As much as this game changes, the size still stands out. I mean, obviously it has to, but it's the players, once you see how big they are, then you look to see how do you play with that. And it used to be, if you were that big, you'd be hammering guys all over the ice. The game has changed so much. The big guys can skate. The big guys can puck handle now.
Yeah, exactly. They can move really well. And again, at 6'6", 225, 10 years ago, it's a different game. This guy has 6 penalty minutes.
And there was a crash to net and put the puck in for the blue team as they wind up getting the first goal of this game.
Olivier Leblanc from Quebec. So it's always nice to see a Frenchman score. The guys from the Quebec League so far scoring a couple of goals in the first game, and now they're getting things started in game 2, so I like it.
And there you see, nothing fancy to it. Get it to the net. That's all they did. Gregory Hoffman trying to send it back in off a pass from LeBlanc. Adam Boquist picks it up for the white team. Voracek clears it off the far wall. Sillinger chasing, but won't get there. Roslovic, nice job playing a little defense to keep him away. Voracek with another chance. Merzlikins turns that one away. Werenski just trying to kick it ahead. Sillinger makes a steal, takes the shot. It deflected off the defenseman and went wide. There's that white team again with pressure. Werenski called for that puck, sneaking in from the blue line. Couldn't quite get it on his stick. Gives Sillinger a chance to play it down along the boards, and the blue team just wants to get the pressure out of their own end, and they will off the stick of Zach Werenski. I'm watching Jack Roslovic pressure Werenski, and I just watch him make that play against Sillinger on the other side of the ice. The knock on Roslovic, or the area of improvement is what I should say, he needs to improve on his two-way play, his defensive play. It's good to see him make a couple of plays like that.
Yeah, it is nice. And learning, the center position in the NHL, people don't understand how hard it is. And for him, that was really his first year playing center in the NHL last season, so you will see improvement. He's committed to it, so that's a great sign.
White team with the steal, and they get it out. Nyquist over to Chinakhov, creates a 2-on-1. Chinakhov back to Nyquist, and he just took it upstairs too far. Missing the net. Jenner now, high slot with a shot that got blocked by Carson Meyer. Kevin Stenlin will get it to the blue line. Didn't bring it out, sends it back to the defense. Over to Jake Bean. Jake Bean was picked up from the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for a second-round pick. It was a second-round pick that the Blue Jackets got from the Chicago Blackhawks in the trade for Seth Jones. John Luke, I still love what they did in that trade, how they were able to take a great NHL defenseman like Seth Jones, a guy they knew that they had a deal, and they still somehow came out of that with 2 NHL caliber defensemen in the trade in Boquist and Bean.
Yes, and more importantly, we talked about Sillinger. They get that draft pick, that number 12 spot that was allowing them to pick Sillinger. And, for me, I look at Sillinger. Unfortunately, he missed the World Juniors due to COVID,
Right.
positive tests. And this is a guy that probably would have gone in the top 5, 6 if that didn't happen. So, sometimes bad things happen for a reason. And for the Blue Jackets, that Sillinger pick there was perfect.
There you see Nyquist with his chance. Merzlikins able to get out there and get some of that. Great showing early on here in camp. So the white team down by 1, and they're offside coming into the zone.
Did you see that release by Sillinger? That shot? That was heavy. No disrespect to Mike, his father, who I played, but talk about the son having a rocket right there. That was an incredible release from him.
Another offside situation here for the white team. Just trying to find some flow and having a problem doing that. Stanislav Svozil. That's another guy that they're talking about, John Luke. He had a good rookie tournament up in Traverse City. Might be in that category of not ready for prime time, but going to get a good look in this camp. Here he's defending. And he takes Tyler Angle all the way to the boards.
And for any organization, you never have too many defensemen, and that's one thing with the Blue Jackets. With Seth Jones being gone now, who's going to be your next number 2, 3? So obviously, with Boquist and Bean, that's the hope. But yes, the more young defensemen you have, goaltenders, forwards, you want everything to be deep as far as who's your next one. So you don't have to worry about that all too much now with Zach signing that big extension, which was a nice surprise for all the Blue Jackets fans. But yes, let's keep an eye on all these young guys throughout camp and see what the future holds here.
Just saw Zach playing a real 200-foot game. He jumped up offensively on one end and then hustled to get back defensively on the other end. White team trying to get that top line back out there once again. And they do. Voracek steers it into the team blue zone. Sillinger will drop it back. Voracek. Jake Voracek reacquired, I should say, from the Philadelphia Flyers to do exactly what you just saw. Get the puck to Patrick Laine and let him shoot it. Now that puck got deflected, but that's the idea. That's why they wanted Voracek to play on this line with Patrick Laine.
Yeah, he needs a setup man, and I think that's the perfect guy for Patrick Laine. And it's funny, I was outside on the plaza for the Blue Jackets 5K, and somebody asked me, who do I think is going to be the breakout player? And my money's on Patrick Laine. I think last year with the coronavirus, the trade, the injuries, it was a little challenging for all these guys, but I think he had a good summer of preparation, and hopefully, we know he has the tools. Hopefully he prepared for it.
Boquist gives it away. Gregory Hoffman takes a shot. Adam Boquist, give him credit right there. Gave the puck away at the blue line, got back defensively, deflected the shot out of play.
Yep, and again, it comes back to, you're on a new team. We know about your offensive talent as a defenseman, but hey, defenseman, the first word in defenseman is defense, right? So great stick play there. He's not the biggest guy, but he has a good stick.
Why do I get the feeling that a coach or two said that to you along the way?
Well, I never really had that problem, but sometimes you look at some of these defensemen today and, you talk about the Norris Trophy, and it seems like they don't care about the defensive numbers, possession. They just care about how many points the defenseman obtained. And to me, the best defenseman in the league is not necessarily the most offensive one.
Come on,
that's my take.
There wasn't a game or a stretch of games where you were feeling it offensively that somebody didn't have to say, dude, do your job. Come on.
Yeah, I had a short rope on that part. Red line and dump it in, Bob. That's pretty much it.
Blue team leads 1-0 here in this second scrimmage in the early days of the OhioHealth training camp here at the OhioHealth Ice Haus. Jack Rosselnick springing Bjorkstrand. looking for Carson Meyer. Carson Meyer's a guy that he's been talked about a little bit, but not a lot. Another local kid that grew up here in Columbus. Last year, he signed an American Hockey League only contract with the Cleveland Monsters after coming out of Ohio State. But this year, he's back on a two-way contract. He's got an NHL deal, and he's been impressive, especially up in Traverse City.
Yeah, he has, and in Traverse City, he was the oldest guy out there pretty much. So he was the veteran out there. But for me, Carson Meyer is somebody he's gonna get a crack at a few exhibition games. That's when you really want to see something from him. But yeah, it'd be great to see 3 local product in the Blue Jackets organization. But on the main team, that'd be even better. So another guy to keep our eyes open for.
Lawrence was just over the blue line as Brendan Gaunce brought that puck in, so offside call here against Team White. Yeah, and I would think a guy like Carson Meyer, look, if you're a realist, coming into this camp, I've got to perform the best I can. Is it likely that I make this team out of camp? It may not be likely, but I've got to be on the radar so that when something happens, there's an injury or whatever happens down the road, at some point this season, my name has to be the first in their minds.
Yeah, and that's making an impression in training camp. And yes, Carson Meyer may be, obviously through youth, you're a high-scoring player. At this point, you're not going to be a first liner. So for him, he's a guy that needs to prove to the team that he's defensive. He's responsible defensively. He can play offense as well. So it's really about rounding out your overall game and make sure you do a little something special in camp so they remember, hey, we need a call up. Let's call this guy.
Under 2 minutes to go here in the first period of this 2-period game. Josh Dunn coughed it up briefly there in the neutral zone. Tyler Angle comes back. Tyler Angle's another guy who made some noise with the Cleveland Monsters and is hoping to get a good look in this camp. Here he comes with the puck. Drops it off on the right side. They look toward the blue line. It is Angle that will take the shot. It doesn't quite get all the way through traffic, and Werenski scoops it off the end boards. And ahead to Justin Scott. Werenski jumps right up on the play. It's a 3-on-2. Scott pulls up. He looks for Boquist, who's getting in. Down to the bottom of the right wing circle. High slot. Voracek takes the shot, and he scores. Jake Voracek put it in the upper right-hand corner just like a postage stamp. That's a good bingo. And it's a 1-1 game.
What a snipe. Not overly fast of a shot, but what a release by Voracek. Find that little window up top. And, hey, he's a passer, but he can shoot, right?
Absolutely. And you'll see again how he can shoot. Look at him take his time, picks his spot. Boom. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But what an entry there. There was a Boquist to line A, back to Voracek. You can see these guys, they're going to have some fun this year.
Down to 28 seconds left here in the period. Boquist holds it at the right point. He's at the Voracek. That puck bouncing, and Jake couldn't settle that one down.
Bob, did you notice anything special with Voracek as you're watching him skate?
I noticed everything special about Jake.
Beside,
what are you alluding to?
Beside the red beard, the lack of a visor. The only guy in camp without a visor.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah. That's a great point. I did not notice that. And the period comes to an end just like it started. The team's dead even. 1-1 is the score here after one period of play. I did see Jake the other day, and I saw him as he was coming off the ice at the Ice Haus. And first he gave me heck because he said, I saw you at the press conference. You couldn't come and say hi. But it is just great to have him back. And what he brings to the team, yes, he brings all that skill, but he's also been in Philadelphia for a long time. So he's going to bring that experience here with him. He knows how to be a leader now, and he is a fun guy. He can give you that injection of fun when you need it. When you need to loosen up, I think now he knows when you need to be serious, when you need to loosen up.
Yeah, and he's a guy that I don't personally know yet, but from what I've seen, whether it's on social media, on the NHL.com, etc., seems like a guy that is very passionate about the game, and like you said, loves to have fun, which is nice to relax the guys, but when it's time to get serious, as we see him here talking to some of the defensemen, he's going to be serious. So I think it's he's coming back to Columbus, seems to be happy about it, and a guy that's going to bring a lot to that locker room.
I can't believe it's been almost 10 years since I worked with him last.
I was still playing in Europe. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it is a 1-1 game, and we'll play another 20 minutes. And it looks like they're going to switch the goaltenders here, right, John Luke?
Yes, so Elvis is out, and I think JF Berube, no, that is not, no, Berube is on the white team. And then,
Got Evan Morse on the blue team. And is that Berube on the white team?
yeah.
Yeah, Evan Morse is playing for the blue team right now. There he is. Get a look at him in his Ohio State gear. Here's a better look at him in his Ohio State gear. All right, so the goalies have changed. Nothing else has. Let's see how and when the score changes here. And as we start the second period, we'll watch the action as it's going on, but we're also happy to be joined by Blue Jackets development coach Derek Dorsett. Derek, thanks for coming on with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
I think the last time I talked to you here in the Ice Haus, you were an assistant coach for Upper Arlington High School, and you guys were getting ready to play in a state playoff game. And now here you are as the Blue Jackets development coach. How do you get that turnaround so quickly?
I obviously knew I wanted to get back into the game in some shape or form, and it just happened to be, with some high school hockey, and said I would help out the local neighborhood hockey team, and then this job came along, and thought I'd jump on it right away.
Ironically, the guys you're dealing with here, when it comes to development, aren't going to be much older than the guys you were dealing with there, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's it's what I like, helping kids, and obviously a lot of these kids are going to be junior players and college players, but it's just one goal, and that's to help these kids reach their full potential and get to their main goal of making the National Hockey League.
Hey, Derek, Jean-Luc here. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you in the organization. As a development coach, you're looking at these young players out there, and I'm a junior player. This is my second camp here. What's the tip? What would you suggest these young guys to do in camp really to be able to stick out?
Well, obviously you gotta come in great shape, and I think that's the one thing that as a junior coming in to your first training camp, you realize how good a shape all these National Hockey League players and AHL players are. And obviously some of the things I tell these kids is just be observant. Look how these guys watch Zach Werenski prepare for the ice sessions, and how he trains in the gym, and Boone Jenner, guys that have been around. Just be a sponge, ask them questions, and just learn from them. That's the biggest thing that I think a young guy can do, and it takes a lot of hard work and commitment, and all these guys are pros, and just watch the guys that are veteran players.
Derek, you had a chance to go up to Traverse City and watch that tournament and watch the Blue Jackets go 4-0, and I know you saw a lot of very good players do a lot of very good things. As they make the jump to this training camp, this is not the same. You were just talking about now you've got the Zach Werenskis and the Jake Voraceks and the Patrick Laine's. When you watch those guys in particular that did well in that camp, what are you looking for to see how they compete against this level of talent?
Well, you want to see if they can handle the competitiveness level. Obviously, it kicks up. These guys are bigger, stronger. Like I said, you got veteran guys that have been around the block, and a lot of these guys are young guys. So you look to see how they can handle the big jump, and some of them I truly think play better with some of the big boys, and but I think. Just making sure that they can handle the big heavy guys in the corners and win their battles, and just small little details and things like that.
Derek, obviously you are not from Columbus, Ohio. You retired here, helped coach over at Upper Arlington with hockey, high school hockey. Personal question here. What brought you back to Columbus? Why did you pick Columbus to retire?
Well, I got drafted as a 19-year-old to the Blue Jackets, and I came in the summer to train. And I came when I got here. I came as a young professional, and I grew up here. And it was just a great city. Everyone welcoming, and it's big enough where you got everything you need. I just fell in love with the city. It's the people, big city feel. It's got a big city but a small town feel, and everyone's just polite and mannered. And I grew up as a young professional here, and we always thought that we'd come back here, and met my wife when she was going to Ohio State, and just love the neighborhoods.
We just saw Gregory Hoffman score a goal on a beautiful tic-tac-toe started by Roslovic, helped by Bjorkstrand, and then finished off by Hoffman. Derek, I want to ask you another question here because Gregory Hoffman is a different category. We were talking about the young guys. Here's a guy that has played over in Europe. Even though he was drafted by an NHL team with the Hurricanes, he never came over and played. He's getting an opportunity now. He's an older guy. He's obviously a smart guy. What's the mindset of a player like that in a camp like this?
Well, I think he's been really good in the camp, and even in the summer skates, the ones I watched, he's a guy that can skate, and he's really powerful and explosive, big body, but he can also shoot the puck. So it's been exciting to see him play, and obviously he's coming in to earn a spot on the team, and like you said, he was playing over in the Swiss League for a number of years, and he doesn't look out of place. He's a big, fast, big body guy. So excited to see him doing well here so far.
Hey, let me ask you this. Going back to your job, when you got hired this summer, you and Mark Letestu were both hired as development coaches, and we're going to split the duties. And then Letestu decided to bail on you and take an assistant coaching job with the Cleveland Monsters in the American Hockey League. He told me that he's kind of followed you around all through life. Like everywhere you were, he ended up, living there or playing there or whatever. So maybe he just wanted to get away from you for a change. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. He's probably thinking this guy's full of crap, so I better get away from him.
How does that change your job, though, now that you've got that role on your own? Is it going to be more responsibility, or how have you guys sorted it out?
Yeah, there'll be some more travel and seeing more guys. Obviously, we had it split up in ways, but I've always been a guy that I'll do whatever's asked of me, and I think it's a good opportunity for Tessie to go and coach in the American League, and it's a good opportunity for me to get on the road a little bit more and get to know some of these guys, and obviously with Rick, he'll take on some guys, and we'll do it as a committee. There's no egos involved, and whatever's best for the players. So just try and help them, feel comfortable and make them pros, like I said before. And that's the biggest, goal of my job is to get these kids to fall in love with the city that I did, and be able to live out their dream playing in the National Hockey League with a great organization.
So now Rick is the veteran in the organization as far as player development. So does he get all the nice trip to Europe and you go to Western Saskatchewan for scouting, or how you guys gonna split the duties there?
Nasher I think is gonna go a little bit everywhere. So he's gonna have the big travel load, but I'll be doing a lot of out west and out to Saskatchewan. But I like that. That's where I'm from, and it gets me home. And my dad will be out there and my family, so I can see them on some of the trips. But no, we'll do a lot. And obviously we got Jarkko Ruutu over in Europe. That's been with the organization for a few years now.
Justin Scott just tied this game at 2 apiece as he scores for Team White. Derek, help refresh my memory, because when you came into the organization and you were in Syracuse, was there a development coach? I know Kevin Dineen was the first one here, but was there a development coach that you recall when you were in Syracuse?
Yeah, when I was first drafted and still playing in Medicine Hat, development coach was Dean Blaze.
Oh, that's right.
And then actually my first year pro, it turned over to Tyler Wright. And Tyler Wright was a guy that believed in me and helped me and kept me focused on what I needed to do, and kept me grounded and telling me things I needed to work on and what I needed to get better at to make the National Hockey League. And I owe a lot to Tyler. He helped me out along the way, and he's a guy that I see in the summer times. We're on the same lake up in Western Canada, so I have always pick his brain, and he'll be a good resource for me.
And that's the reason I was asking you that, because I just wanted to, as a player, I just wondered what you remembered of that and how you plan on incorporating that. You only take the things that work for you, though, right?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, just communication and letting these kids know when they're playing well, and open, honest dialogue and what they need to do, and give them a roadmap to to have the best success that they can have. And it's amazing what people can do when someone believes in them, and just kind of be a sounding board for them and help them through tough times. And hockey seasons are long seasons, and there's a lot of pressure on kids, and just listening to see what they have to say and help them out in any way possible.
As you're working with these young guys, how closely are you going to be working with the Cleveland Monster and Mark Letestu to find out how these guys are developing down there? Or do you just cover the guys that are in junior and university? Well,
you got to remember too, like Chris Clark, he was the development coach and now the GM, so he has a lot of relationships with those guys. And I imagine just like in any role, right, your job evolves as time goes. And right now I'm focused on a lot of the junior guys, and we'll be helping out with some of the NCAA guys and getting to build those relationships. And once they graduate off to the American Hockey League or the National Hockey League, I'm sure I'll still stay in contact with them and be a sounding board from them. You got to build that relationship and that trust, and that's what I'd like to do, is to do that. And it's, to be honest with you, it's all about the kids and trying to get them to be great athletes and great people off the ice too.
It's funny when you say it's all about the kids, because I remember when you were a kid out here doing these things that these guys are right now, and now here you are trying to help them develop their talents and make their way to the National Hockey League. Derek, thank you so much. It is great to have you back in the Blue Jackets organization. And I think I'm speaking for Jean-Luc here too, and saying that we look forward to being able to see you around the rink and being able to talk to you all year.
Yeah, it feels great to be back in such a great organization. Look forward to seeing you guys around.
All right, thank you, Derek.
Thanks, guys.
Derek Dorsett, development coach for the Blue Jackets. And the white team has just taken a 3-2 lead in this game.
What a great guy.
And it's funny, too. I don't think you find many players that had more heart than Derek Dorsett in the game. And, sometimes he was the smallest guy on the ice, willing to take on the biggest guy on the ice. If that's what was going to be what the team needed, that's exactly what Derek Dorsett was going to do. So as he's trying to help guys individually get ready to come to the league, one thing you know about him, he's always going to preach that team first attitude.
Yeah, that hard work, and obviously he embodied that throughout his career. But for me, that's why I asked him that question. It's interesting to hear that Tyler Wright, who was, that in-your-face type player, is one of the guys that give him the most tips. And then obviously Derek Dorsett became exactly the same thing to another level for the Blue Jackets and throughout his career.
Well, Team White able to add to their lead. Evan Morse got a piece of the puck, but he didn't get all of it. As Brendan Gauntz, you see it goes off the blocker pad in his shoulder and just kind of rolls around behind him. That's the kind of goal that drives the goalie crazy, because he knows he got 3/4 of it.
Yes, not a good feeling, and especially with these masks nowadays, it's really hard to track the puck once it's over your shoulder or rolling on your shoulder. So, hey, the offense really unlocked there since we started talking to Derek Dorsett.
Yes, it did.
Went from 1-1 and to 4-2.
Jake Bean chipping the puck off the boards, gets stolen by Brett Gallant. Carson Meyer will take it right back and spin it outside the blue line. Well, now the blue team, they need to turn it up a bit. They had gotten that goal from Gregory Hoffman, and they were sitting in a good spot, and all of a sudden they find themselves down by a couple. Jake Bean taking the puck, Voracek right there to take over defensively. Bean on the right side, didn't make a clean connection. Jake Voracek off the stick of Sillinger. Cole gets it back, takes the shot, and he scores! Cole Sillinger, all business to make it 5-2.
What a release by Sillinger. Great pass from Voracek. The puck is rolling on his stick and still finds a way to put it post in. These guys are so talented now. It's scary.
Let's look at it again here. Just the quick shot.
Yep.
You watch him make a play like that, and it would be, in some ways, people could be surprised it's his first camp. you know?
Right. And what I like, again, we're talking about an 18, 19-year-old kid here that comes to camp, and you see that trend a lot. Guys go to net and they want to shoot bar down every single time. And smart shot catches the goaltender by surprise with a low, precise shot, scores that goal. So they talk about maturity and, mature beyond his years. That's a prime example of it.
And then there was the other part of his game as he fought through a check by Josh Dunn, got it to Voracek. Here comes Line, and he just buries it.
Well, he goes bar down. He's the veteran. Oh, what a clinic by the white team right now.
You were talking about Patrick Laine and how you think he can be a breakout player. I'm sure you saw his quotes the other day when he broke down last season, not happy with himself to say the least. But look at this shot.
Yeah, we all heard about the shot. We know he can shoot it, and now he's got somebody to feed him the puck. So obviously this is team, scrimmage. It's different, but I think he's going to be ready to go.
Yeah, well, how many times did we talk about that last year? Whether we were talking about it on the air in our respective shows or we were talking about it off the air together. He just didn't seem to shoot the puck. And when you're a shooter, just shoot the puck.
Yeah, exactly. As a shooter, you need somebody that can give you the puck in those prime spots, because he's a guy that, I want to say in his first 10 shots with the Columbus Blue Jackets, this guy scored 5 or 6 goals. And then it kind of stopped. He stopped shooting because teams figured it out. But when you have playmakers, like a Jake Voracek, or Zach Werenski on your team that are going to be on the ice constantly with you, the opportunities are going to be there. And for him, it's going to have to be a shoot-first mentality.
White team with that commanding 4-goal lead. Clock turning down to 8:36 to go in this second and final period. Jack Roslovic trying to work over Brendan Gaunce over on the far wall. Jake Bean getting the puck. Sends it up the right side.
And Bob, the other thing we didn't talk about is the lack of training camp. Some players love training camp. Some other players don't need it. And I think, maybe he's a guy that, gets his feel in training camp. And he basically had, an interrupted season twice last year with the trade and quarantine and all that stuff. So, you got to give him a break. And this year it's redemption time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You talk about the lack of training camp. Remember what we had last year? We had a couple of these scrimmage games on the main ice, and that was it.
Yeah.
And no preseason games against other opponents. This year we'll be back to the normal 8. And it all starts on Monday in Pittsburgh. And John Luke, I'd gotten to the point where I'd look at the training camp or the preseason games and I'd be like, oh, we got to play these games. I won't say it again. After what happened last year and not having it, you see the value in it. So
yeah,
I won't complain about it again. All right, I will complain about it again. But you just remind me not to complain about it again.
If we do a game together, I'll make sure to remind you. Stop complaining, Bob. Just enjoy it. We got people in the building.
Kevin Stanley, big shot and a bigger save. Now the blue team trying to put some pressure on. They need to. They're down by 4 goals, under 7 minutes to play here. The white team's going to bring it back out. Voracek, nice backhanded saucer pass to Justin Scott. Scott's got one of those 6 goals. And Brett Gallant going to take this shot. And it's looked right into the glove of Morse. Yeah, 3 games in 3 days next week. As the Blue Jackets go on the road on Monday to Pittsburgh to take on the Penguins. They'll come back home and face the Buffalo Sabres and the St. Louis Blues. The old American Hockey League schedule, Jean-Luc, 3 games, 3 days.
The old Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon, right? It was not even that night, because then you got to get on the bus for your 10-hour trip back to Western New York, most likely.
I'll tell you what, most of our trips were Friday, Saturday at home, Sunday afternoon in Toronto. So that'd be Friday, Saturday night, then a 4-hour bus ride, and then an afternoon game the next day. And then right back home. That was always fun.
But you know what, Bob? You enjoy making it to the NHL so much more.
Yeah.
After going through these grueling schedules. And that's one of the things that I think is underestimated in today's players is a lot of them, obviously they're talented, but, all they know is going from junior NCAA to to the NHL. And
Right.
I feel like the American Hockey League, the schedule, everything is actually harder than what it was in junior, compared to the NHL. So it's a great transition and a great development league, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're talking about the league that the NHL had last year with COVID, 56 games. How about the American Hockey League, who they barely had a schedule, they barely had a season. There was a taxi squad last year, so every team was without probably 4 or 5 of their best players because they were on the NHL taxi squad. We're looking forward to getting back to a regular 82-game season and fans in the building, but think about in Cleveland what they're looking forward to, just to have a schedule and get back to a season where you had the playoffs and all those things.
Yeah, the owners, the fans, and more importantly, the players and the organizations, because being a development league, when your schedule is cut like that, it's really hard for guys to develop because it's basically a year off in the prime of your career for most of these guys.
Now the white team tried to get a little bit fancy there, and you can do that when you're up by 4, because if you don't score and it goes back the other way and you get one up, okay, now we're up by 3. It's late in the game. But Nyquist trying to create there a little bit with his teammates, and they didn't get the goal, but here comes Team Blue. And they take the shot. Now it is denied. Gavrikov sliding down below the hash marks there. Vladislav Gavrikov, now that David Savard is gone, we're always going to talk about Gavrikov being that responsible defensive guy, but you cannot forget that this guy loves to find that little space where nobody picks him up, nobody sees him, and all of a sudden he shoots the puck, and that's what he was trying to do right there.
Yeah, he sneaks in, is really good, and we saw him, especially his first season with Blue Jackets, score quite a few goals that way, and on top of it, we love his celebration.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're still trying to figure out who he's calling, but we love it.
I got to ask you this question. Do you think we've become so accustomed to seeing this team, when it was coached by John Tortorella, winning games 2-1, 3-2? Is this now going to be a team that's routinely into 5-4, 6-5 games? I'm legitimately asking that, not because, the defense is different, but there's a lot of goal scorers, and that's the way the league is. When you look at some of the best teams, it's a lot of open games. It's a lot of goals.
I think so, and I think that's a trend that we're starting to see in the NHL overall. This is going to be a younger team, so they're going to make a lot of mistakes. It's going to be a new defensive pairing, but I think the forward group is offensively talented enough to, we're not talking about pond hockey, 7-6 games and stuff like that, but I think it's going to be, see it this way, for the fans, it should be a more interesting brand of hockey, which is going to be, not dumping the puck, playing with the puck a little bit more, and maybe taking, a few more risks offensively when needed. So, yes, the 2-1 games, the 3-2s are going to be pretty rare, if you ask me. But again, they could surprise us.
Well, I think that's the biggest difference. This is a team that had been built on defense and goaltending for a long, long time. And now that defense is in flux. But as it is in flux, you've got forwards. I think you have more forwards right now that have more scoring ability. Do you agree?
Yes. I think offensively this is closer to the team that was here 2 years ago or 3 years ago than the team that is, that was here last season. And, remember, safe is death,
yes,
right, was the motto back in the days. This is going to be a closer thing to that, that team offensively, I believe. So we have to remember, John Tortorella, he's this defensive master defense. But when they had the puck and the Panarins were going and the Duchesnes were going, they were scoring a lot of goals as well. So I think for Coach Larson and the staff, it's going to be really seeing what you got on hand at the end of training camp and adapt to, whatever is handed to you.
Carson Meyer in on the left wing side, long shot, batted away. Another one put in front. Oh, backhanded feed through the legs. Didn't connect. Under a minute to go here. Team Blue down by 4. Patrick Laine intercepts a pass. Laine just wants to keep this thing moving. Sends it behind the net. Of course, even if they got pinned against the boards, there's no whistles in this game. The clock will continue to run, but You're playing it like it's the final minute of a regular season game, and the white team chips it out. Here's Sillinger. He's got Line with him, and Patrick couldn't handle that pass. It bounced on him. Settles it right back down. Where does he go? Off the backhand. Finding Mikko Lehtinen down low. Evan Morse able to make that save. Again, they try to feed it in front. This time Kevin Stenlund cuts it off. And Stenlund plays it behind the net. Chinakhov, good forecheck right there. As it comes back out to Boone Jenner. In the waning seconds of this game, Gavrikov flips it up in the air, and that'll do it. Well, a game that was tied 1-1 at the break finishes with the white team winning by the final score of 6-2. Jean-Luc, we saw a lot of good things. You saw some young guys getting on the board, but you saw some of the veteran players, guys that you know are going to be a part of this when the regular season begins. You saw them working together. And, you know, whether it was scoring or creating scoring chances, starting to gel.
Yeah, starting to gel. For me, the Line Voracek, Sillinger line was the best one I've seen today in both games. You can see that they're a step above everyone else right now. So it's kind of fun to see, because you look at the skill level across the board. It's pretty much all the same, but you can tell, you know, the special players, and I think they proved that again today.
Yes, they did. And now they go off as they have finished their workday here at the OhioHealth Ice Haus. So a couple of great scrimmage games. Teams will be back at it tomorrow just with their practicing. And then, as I said, on Monday, they'll be headed to Pittsburgh for a 7 o'clock game against the Pittsburgh Penguins back here at home to take on the St. Louis Blues, or the Buffalo Sabres and the St. Louis Blues on Tuesday and Wednesday, 7 o'clock games for that as well. We'll have all the preseason games on the Blue Jackets radio network, and Jean-Luc will even come by for a couple.
I will, and I'll make sure to remind you to enjoy training camp.
No, you won't have to remind me this year. This will be in future years, Jean-Luc. You'll have to remind me after I forget about the COVID year. You got to remind me about that all the time.
We'll
Not
see.
this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to do it. Hey, thank you for joining us here today for OhioHealth Blue Jackets training camp as they played here at the OhioHealth Ice Haus. It was great to bring it to you. And remember, throughout training camp, when you want to know what's going on, you can find it at BlueJackets.com. For Jean-Luc Grandpierre, I'm Bob McElligott. Enjoy your day.